Hello, this is Andrew from Dataspace Digital, and today I'm bringing you a video that answers questions I've been getting a lot from my clients, and it relates to an update that Google announced on April 10th. Beginning then, all customers that use Google Tag Manager will now see a Google tag automatically loaded in their container. If this is something that you've seen or your business is encountering, don't worry, you're not alone. And today I'm going to show you what action you need to take if this applies to you. Before we begin with the update, I just want to backtrack and explain exactly what the Google tag is. The Google tag is a library of code that loads in the foundations for all of Google's products from GA4, Google Analytics, floodlight tags, any sort of measurement system that is running on your website or app likely is using Google tag as its foundation. It's what underpins consent, attribution, and all of the marketing software that we're using to track from a website perspective. So getting this right is super important, and that's why Google is taking this step to load this tag in Tag Manager so that we can be crystal clear in what we're collecting. So now let's see what this update is and how it applies to you if you are an advertiser running Google Ads or I also want to add that this does relate to some of the new privacy changes that we're increasingly seeing in the industry. This is one of Google's responses to our more privacy safe environment that loading this Google tag will also help with through better enhanced conversions, consent mode, all of the new features that we're responding to in this data privacy landscape. This is entirely related to that. And if you're like me and you read the Google Docs, you might have seen this update that was just added to the Google Tag and Tag Manager section that's calling out exactly what a lot of people are seeing in their own Tag Manager accounts. And that is if you are an advertiser with Google Ads or Floodlight tags, you will see a Google tag automatically added into your container. And this is to help with all the tracking pieces I mentioned earlier. I've also seen this for clients that are just running analytics. So there is some call out here. If you are running GA4 on your website, you also will see this. I think they are rolling it out more broadly, but starting first with Google Ads and Floodlight tags first. All right, let's check Tag Manager so that way you can see exactly what this issue looks like and see if your business is affected by this. So first, you'll see this gray bar across the top that this will say, exactly the number of Google tags that you're missing. This corresponds with the number of products that you're using and how many Google tags you've deployed through Tag Manager already. In this case, I added an AdWords tag as an example, so that's likely what it's picking up on. And there are two ways you can fix this. You can use the new container quality feature, and it will be listed as an issue within that section. And it will be shown here along with any other tagging issues you might be seeing. I'll do a breakdown on this feature as this is probably one of the coolest Google Tag Manager updates I've seen. But let's focus first on the task at hand and let's add that missing Google tag so that our tagging can be fully complete. My clients have seen so far, Google has just suggested this. I've yet to see an example where we're rolling this out where they've gone ahead and actually rolled out a tag on behalf. So this is good because it allows us to set this up and and do our testing and due diligence up front so that when Google does force this update, that way we can make sure that we're staying compliant and our setup is rock solid. So let's go ahead and add that Google tag. And it's great. It suggests exactly what tags we need to add. In this case, it's suggesting the missing one that I need in order to run some of my other tags. So let's go ahead and click this, and we can see exactly what the details are. Again, with your Google tag, you're going to want to set it to initialization events, and then all you need to do is click Add to Workspace up here. All right, so now that we've added the recommended tag, the first thing to note is that this is not actually live on our website. In Google Tag Manager, all changes are staged, so we will have to click submit in order for this to actually appear on our site and for us to actually fix the issue. Now, before we do so, I do think it's important to do some thorough testing whenever we're adding any new code to our website and if we're affecting our tagging structure in any way. And I bring this up because if you are a marketer who has added Google GA4 Google Ads through a third-party provider, and this is more common than you think because there's a lot of website hosting platforms, whether that's WordPress, Shopify, Squarespace, that have a built-in Google Analytics feature where you can load Google Analytics or a Google Ads tag without even needing to use Google Tag Manager. So in the cases where you are running kind of duplicate setups where you do have some Google code deployed through a Shopify, a WordPress, and Tag Manager, it's important that this code is not in contrast with each other and is not leading to double counting or any sort of measurement issues. And so that's why I want to preview and kind of show you what to look for. All right, let's go ahead and open up my demo store so we can see exactly what to check for and see to verify that our tags are not going to be in conflict with our existing setup. All right, now that my site is opened, let's go back into Tag Manager, into our preview and see what's going on here. This is very helpful at the top to see all of the Google tags that are firing here, in which case we can just see the tag associated with the Google tag we just recently added, and it's firing one time here. We're not off the hook just yet because we need to make sure that this is not firing from some other source, whether that is built into the CMS of the website, hard-coded anywhere. Very important to check. So the best way to do this is we're going to go ahead and copy that ID, or if you did so earlier in the video, this is when we're going to use that value. So I'm going to copy it now here. I'm actually going to go back to my website and I'm going to open up the developer tools. And for those unfamiliar, you can just right click, inspect. And if this is unfamiliar to you, don't worry, this is actually pretty straightforward. And the first thing we're going to click on is network. And what we're going to search for is that value. And there are two settings here that if you are brand new to the network tab that you're going to need to enable. You're going to want to click on this preserve log and you're going to want to turn on record hits so that that way everything is logged. Now, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to click this stop button to clear the existing log, and I'm going to paste in our value. This is what I just copied over. And notice, nothing is showing up here. And that makes sense because this tag usually will fire in the beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to refresh the page to simulate what it is like when a new page view occurs. This is the best way to check for double counting in my perspective. And that way we can verify that our setup is not in conflict. All right, so we have a lot of different tags here. We can see all of the different events that are firing associated with this tag. And we can also, instead of searching for this value, another one that I do recommend searching is for page view specifically, since this is generally a metric that is the canary in the coal mine where if this is getting inflated, chances are other metrics are getting inflated as well, and it's worth taking a closer look. So I'm actually going to X this out and we're going to search for page view specifically. And notice we have two page view events now that are getting returned. One is specific to our tag ID ending in 838. And this is data that's likely sending to Google Analytics. And then we also have our tag that is going to be sent to Google Ads if you've configured it that way. So you can see the ID here is slightly different. So the good thing is we're not seeing 6 page view events fire for a single one. We're just seeing this fire for Google Analytics and Google Ads, which is what I have deployed on my website. Now, if you this was showing up multiple times after you added in the Google tag in Tag Manager, this is definitely something to take a closer look at. And if you do run into this issue, let me know down in the comment section, and I'm happy to help you through this, as there are some options that I can it are a bit harder to explain in a video, as they are a bit more specific to your account. But either way, this can be fixed if you do encounter that issue. So now that we've gone ahead and confirmed, we're actually going to go back to Tag Manager and we're going to submit our changes. Because again, remember, they're just staged until we click submit. So now we're going to click submit. Always remember to give your update a name. In this case, I'm going to call it add new Google tag per April 10th update. And we're going to click publish. So now we've clicked publish. We're going to go back into our workspace and notice that gray banner at the across the top is no longer there. And we can see here we were seeing 3 issues. Now we're just seeing that first one. And this is, again, we can go through this in a different video if there's interest on how to fix all of the issues in your tag in your container. But I wanted to cover this Google Tag update since I've been getting a lot of questions about it. And I do think it's worth it to go ahead and do this test on your own to make sure that when this update does get pushed by Google, that your business will be ready and that there won't be any measurement issues introduced as a result. This has been Andrew with Dataspace Digital. I make tons of videos like this every week. So if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe and follow along for more updates.